Hello everyone, welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding, Lady Mavericks Unite. Alrighty, if you're just coming into this series, this is the series dedicated to you ladies so you can have your own slice of the car world. And for the longest time, we have done everything that we possibly can to show you guys the basics. But one of you ladies out there, believe it or not, in the high mileage club of the Maverick Nation, asked for this video. So, I'm not one to ignore the fans, especially ones that have been donating to the channel. Let's get down to it. The question came up, Prince Magnum, we see that you're working on Lena, and we know there's stuff happening behind the scenes to Project Spirit. I would love my own custom car, but I don't know where to begin. Okay, Lady Mavericks, I heard you loud and clear, especially the one that, again, had asked for this specifically, and she's donating to the channel. Let's get to it. Finding your custom car is actually pretty easy. Now, some of you Lady Mavericks out there are like, well, you know, can any car be a custom car? To an extent, yes. Any car can be a custom car, but what we're looking for is something specific. Now, is there going to be a benefit to this? Well, currently right now, as I'm making this video, there's a chip shortage, so it's hard for some car companies to provide new vehicles. I know in some cases, there's a year waiting list now for new cars. So there is a benefit to this video, not just for you Lady Mavericks, but for the guys out there too. For our manliest of the man, the Mavericks themselves. Okay. So what do I mean by, you know, custom cars? And you know, just about any car could be a custom car, but what we're looking for specifically. What am I talking about? Okay. Well, pretty much any vehicle here can be a custom car. It depends on what you want to do with them. But what we're looking for a custom car is something that we can make our own, and there's going to be a good aftermarket available to us. Okay? So the first thing that we need to do is, I know there's some of you out there that wouldn't mind getting your hands on a JDM, you know, the Japanese domestic market here in the United States. You know, a lot of guys like to get their hands on the Honda Civics. Gosh, I mean, you know, the old 90s Toyota Supras, the Mitsubishi Eclipses, the list goes on. But good luck finding one of those, okay? A lot of those cars have been bought up, and in some cases, they're already laying down some serious hate on a track somewhere in the country, or they've been chopped to bits by someone that their heart was in the right place, but they really don't know a whole lot about cars. And I'm not going to pick on those guys. Again, as I just said, their heart's in the right place, but that's definitely not the route that, you know, that they should have taken, you know. Spend a little bit of time, guys, on those forums, but that's neither here nor there. So, what kind of car can we choose from then? Okay. Well, believe it or not, cars just like Project Lena here are now showing up in junkyards everywhere, okay? And in some cases, they've not had any you know, damage from an accident, okay? Not necessarily is that always, you know, I mean, you can still work on some of them if they've been damaged in an accident, as long as the frame's not bent, but you know, you run that risk because when you start getting into modern cars, you know, you're talking about bent frames. And, you know, so you could go to a junkyard and find a car just like Project Lena. Now, I already hear some of you Lady Mavericks saying, even though you're I'm talking to a camera, and if you're shouting at the screen asking this question, seek professional help. Anyhow, I already know what you're going to say. Well, what about a car like Project Spirit? Well, you're talking about a car that's 50 years old. And I love Project Spirit, but I did make a mistake with Project Spirit. Project Spirit's a four-door Maverick. If you're not familiar with Project Spirit, this is Project Spirit before her accident. So, the problem with a car like Project Spirit is, for the longest time, four-doors weren't popular. Well, now, even though they are, there's not much of an aftermarket for them because there's still so few of the four-doors left, okay? So, imagine trying to find parts for those four doors, because you can still get parts for everything else, but for the four doors, imagine trying to find parts for those four doors on that Maverick for a car that's almost 50 years old as the making of this video, and there wasn't much support for many years until now. There's only a handful of them left. See where this is going. Get something a little bit more modern that has a blown engine or the transmission shot, something to that effect, okay? That's what you ladies are looking for, okay? Now, kind of an inside tip, all right? This is a secret for all of us, all right? If you're watching right now and you want one of the coolest of the cool for a custom car, here's a little secret. The secret is, now we're starting to see more and more of Mustangs, Camaros, Trans Ams, Firebirds show up in junkyards with blown engines and transmissions. People didn't take care of them. Now the guys in those junkyards and those salvage yards all across the United States, they don't mind selling you the whole car. And if you play your cards right, you can find a salvage engine that's not had the piss run out of it, that's around, a decent amount of miles. You could buy that engine and have it dropped in there, and you've got a cool custom car. Yeah, the engine's stock, but that doesn't mean at a later date you can't beef that engine up, okay? The sky's the limit. And you can buy these cars and put them back on the road for nickels on the dollar, and you can drive them every day if you choose. There's a huge aftermarket available to these cars. Really quick, before you ladies even start hitting the comments section, what am I talking about in aftermarket? Okay. Well, we'll just simplify it. When this car was built brand new, it's released to the market. Well, later on down the road, parts are going to break. Things are going to fail. You're going to need replacement stuff to keep your baby on the road. So, that's your aftermarket. Get it? When it was released, that was the market. This is after the fact. Okay, so in the aftermarket, there is your choice of stock, what the factory put on it, or custom, what the factory dreamed of putting on there. Okay, you with me so far? So, for example, Project Lena here, we have brand new headlights up here, and they look great, don't they? But what if you want something a little flashier? Well, they've got LED light systems for these, built right into the headlights themselves. You just plug it in. That's it. Ta-da! custom. All right, the aftermarket, going custom. And then if you don't want to do that, you can still do stock. And these look great, don't they? I mean, it's almost makes your wiener twitch. Anyhow, so that should give you an idea. You're looking for a car that you could buy for nickels on the dollar, pull it out of a, again, salvage yards, junk yards, whatever you want to call them, you can pull them right out of there, put them back on the road for nickels on, for just pennies on the dollar, pretty much. And you can drive them to and from work every day, and with a little bit of work, and especially if you do any of it yourself, it's going to be really cheap. And the cool thing is, it's yours. Now, really quick, I mentioned Camaros, Firebirds, Mustangs, Trans Ams, cars like that showing up in junkyards. Lady Mavericks, this deserves its own video, and we will definitely do this for you ladies in the future. You may have to remind me, but we will definitely do this video just for you ladies. The cars I just mentioned are sports cars. Now, I know there's going to be some guys, those are pony cars. Okay. That is, the whole pony car and muscle car thing, that is all magazine and advertising stuff that the car that companies out there do. And we heard it as far back as like the 60s and 70s. But if you were to get inside the actual manufacturers, Ford, Chrysler, General Motors, the big three, or if you want to count AMC, the big four, because most people forget that. They automatically refer to them as sports cars. Just for the purposes of advertising, they call them pony cars or muscle cars. And that's all jerk off shit, okay? Just ignore that. The Camaro, the Mustang, the Trans Am, the Firebird, and any other car that fits into that genre of car like that, those are sports cars. 2+2 seater sports cars, because it can fit up to 4 people. Sort of, kind of, comfortably. The only thing that separates them from the Corvette is the Corvette's a 2-seater sports car, okay? So just kind of bear that in mind when you go forward. This will also help you with purposes of insurance and taxes, all right? They're sports cars. Need I say more, all right? They're just sports cars, really. And honestly, the Corvette is an amazing sports car. Why would you want to take the Camaro, the Mustang, the Firebird, the Trans Am, cars like that? Why would you want to take them out of the same category? I mean, to me, that's such a prestigious category. Don't ever take them in it. That's a performance category that is oftentimes misunderstood, but we'll definitely dive into that later. All right, Lady Mavericks. So, kind of an executive recap, okay? Go to a junkyard. Find a car that's not been wrecked, that just needs some work, okay? Maybe needs an engine, transmission, suspension work, things like that. Put it on the road, customize it to your taste, and make sure before you do all of that that it has a wide array of parts available to it so you can customize it to your taste. There. I finally finished this video. Took a couple of takes and a lot of thinking and anyhow. Alrighty. So that brings us to an important spot. Number 1. Get on over to Teespring, find yourself some merchandise, because any merchandise you buy, 45% of it goes back into making videos just like this about project cars, cooking, magic, on location, videos, history, whatever we're feeling that day. All the proceeds go back into that. Along with that, I mentioned Patreon earlier in the video. For $1 a month, you can become a member of the High Mileage Club. All proceeds go back into making, again, videos just like this one here, or working on the cars, or up in the kitchen cooking, whatever. All the proceeds go back into that. So, at this stage of the game, the only thing I have to say to all of you, and that is, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is. Just do something for yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for every last one of you out there, no one out there has told you that they love you today. Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.